long, about 15 minutes, and then I'll let you head off to PLCs around 9:45. Thanks for the last minute change too and being flexible. I wanted to send you the agenda in the chat first. And if you haven't had an opportunity to reach out to your PLC group, make sure you do that in terms of adding the link or sending it via Google Calendar, whatever works best for you and or both. And then after your PLC meeting, make sure you add your notes into the folder. You obviously have your own group, so just make sure you add it to the appropriate folder so I can answer any questions that are on there, or of course, just take a look at your progress from today. So before we talk about end of the year awards, I want to share my screen and watch this really powerful video. It has a great message to it. And the reason why we wanted to come together today is this time of the year is high stress. There are tight turnarounds, lots of deadlines. So we just want to be mindful that emotions can run high. And we always just want to take a step back and not react to emails or something or read into some tone. So, if I find myself, for example, if there's an email that I don't necessarily agree with and I find myself getting a little heated, I always walk away and know that I do not have to answer in a certain period of time, right? I don't have to answer immediately. I have 24 hours to respond. So just keep that in mind too. If you're feeling a little anxious or emotional about a certain tone from an email, you know that you do not have to respond right away. So just wanted to give that little tip. Again, emotions are very high at this time of the year, and it's going to get even more stressful come June when scholars are trying to get their work in. And then you have a very tight turnaround with grading and report cards. So just wanted to let you know we're all here for each other. And we just need to assume positive intention. If you ever need anything, you know where to find us. We're all here to support each other. So let's go ahead and watch this short video. It's about 5 minutes. And then we'll talk about some of these bullet points in just a second. And actually, I think I need to stop sharing because I didn't click on share sound. Hold on one sec. Here we go. Okay, somebody give me a thumbs up.
I have a challenge for you. It's a very simple task. This simple thing I'm going to ask you to do, it's extraordinarily hard. And here's what it is. Today, for the next 24 hours, I want you to assume that everybody else around you has the best intentions. The person that cuts you off in traffic, the friend that's not texting you back, the customer that writes an email that has a snarky tone, whatever it may be. The fact that you may be riled that you posted something on Facebook and one of your best friends didn't tag you in it or didn't like it. I mean, we get hung up around the stupidest stuff. But today I want you to assume the best intentions. This recently happened to me where I really had to put this to use. I had a situation at work where I had a conference call and it was related to a speech. It was one of these kind of kickoff calls where a bunch of people on the client side are going to be there and we're going to talk about the event and I'm going to talk about the speech. And during the conversation, this conference call, I said something that I didn't mean to say. I was totally responsible. I basically said, what day am I speaking? Now, I knew the date that I was speaking. What I didn't know is in the flow of the event, was I the opener? Was I the closer? Was I the person that's supposed to be the defibrillator after a big lunch? Like, what role am I playing? That's a really important thing to understand if you're giving a speech, because it helps you customize what you're going to do. Well, the client misunderstood me because I wasn't precise, and they were annoyed because they thought, holy cow, we've hired this person, we've sent her all kinds of information. She doesn't even know what day she's speaking. So the client gets upset. They complain to the event planner. The event planner then writes me one of these emails that's like this long. The planner was really upset because I had made the planner look bad in front of the client. Now, fully my responsibility, completely unintentional, and also based on a gigantic misunderstanding. So what did I do? Well, I did exactly what you should do when you screw up. I took total responsibility. I apologized. I went overboard and cleaned the mess up. I wrote a long email. I actually left voicemail messages. When we had to deliver a bunch of things, I went overboard in being great about it. And you know what I got from the planner that was really upset with me? Nothing. I didn't get an email back. I didn't get a phone call back, even though I had requested one. Nothing, 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 nothing. And of course, what happens when somebody doesn't respond to you? Whether it's somebody that you're dating, or it's somebody that's a good friend, or it's a customer, or somebody that's upset with you and you've apologized, you immediately think that you've done something wrong. We even do it if you get an email and somebody's tone is slightly off. It is bananas how quickly we assume malintent. We assume we're in trouble. We assume we've done something wrong. So what did I do in this situation? Because my reaction was I was disappointed that I didn't actually get a nice email back or a, hey, no problem, let's move on and have a great event, just got silence. What did I do? I use the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, when I catch myself thinking about it, and then I assume positive intent. I tell myself a different story. I say, oh, well, I've apologized twice, so maybe the planner feels that everything is complete and taken care of and no need to discuss it further. I also assume, hey, this event is a big event. I'm sure they're super duper busy, and this is the last concern on their list. Another thing that you can say is maybe they're busy. Maybe this isn't a big deal to them. Maybe I've already been forgiven. The point is this: you can torture yourself, and I mean torture yourself, over the fact that people haven't texted you back. You can torture yourself over the tone of emails that you receive. You can get so angry at the person that cuts you off in traffic. If you can master the ability to catch yourself when you go down the road of saying you've done something wrong or some other person's a complete moron, and you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you assume good intent. Maybe that person cut me off because they're stressed about work and they're afraid they're gonna get fired if they don't get there on time. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe they didn't see me. And by the way, I hear a lot of people talk about this with dating. I do have a 3-strike rule from baseball. If you reach out to somebody with good intent 3 different times and you hear crickets, it's over. Let it go and move on. You've done nothing wrong, but if you continue to pester the person past 3 unresponded reach outs, now you're stepping into the zone of being annoying. So stop it.
I cracked up at that last part. I could relate back in the day. So I just wanted to show you that video, not only because we talked about emotions are running high, but always it's so hard to read tone in an email. So just be very professional, very positive. And so the person really has no way to misinterpret your tone in an email. So with that said, as I was saying before, if you're feeling upset by something, you do not have to respond right away. Take a break, sleep on it. You have 24 hours to respond. And if I don't get back to you immediately, I am so sorry. Please don't take it personally. I am trying my best to get everything done in this tight turnaround time, but I promise I will get back to you. So we just need to give each other grace. And we need to be cognizant that we are advocating for our scholars. We are here for our scholars. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to reach out to your colleagues. You know, what's the big picture? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I here? We're here for our scholar population. So just, again, make sure you assume positive intention and that everyone is here to support our scholars. I'm just reading some chats. I wanted you to reflect on some of the pieces in the video too. You can take yourself off mute, or if you want to expound on some of the chat, please feel free to do so. But what are some takeaways from that quick video we just watched? Go ahead, Jen.
So I just put it in the chat box. I have just learned over the years of just being an educator and being a professional that you could get an email or a phone call and be like heated. And you're like, I'm going to type up this email. And so I'll type it back, and I'll put everything out there and I pour my guts out. And then my husband actually taught me that. And then I read it and I'm like, yeah, that feels so good. And then and then I delete it, because I think you have to get that out, like that initial fight and flare and anger or frustration. And you get it out on an email, and then you read through it and you're like, well, that felt really good, but there's no way I'm sending that. And so then I will delete it, or write it out. I know sometimes I'll write stuff out, but there's something about typing up an email, and then just not sending it, and then breathing and taking those 24 hours, and then being like, that would have been silly if I would have sent that email. So that's kind of one of the things I do when I'm feeling stressed or frustrated, with maybe one person or with an event or a situation. Write it out or type it out, and then don't send it. And then maybe like go back and then think about your thoughts and maybe write out a better email, or don't, like she said, I think she said something in the video about like, if there's no response for multiple days or something, it's done, it's over, like just let it go. So
Great tip. Thanks, Jen. Jan, event, reaction, outcome. Can't control the event, control the reaction. Excellent point. Very, very excellent. Anybody else want to comment?
I think that just having that mindset always, because, I always tell myself it's not about me, and I gotta always remember everything that happens is not about me. There's everybody else is having their own day. But I think that it just makes you a more peaceful person. You are more like happy, less stress. You don't go around being insulted all the time, or offended. So that has really, really helped me not be stressed or angry or upset. It just gives you, I think, a better, just overall happy feeling.
Couldn't agree with you more, Ruth. I appreciate these comments so much. It's just a nice reminder of our reaction really affects the outcome, as Jan says. If you keep it very professional and very positive, I think there's going to be a very different outcome. So thank you for sharing, everybody. Anybody else want to share before we quickly touch base on the end of the year awards?
Yes, I just want to share that for me, like I haven't heard from any family and they needed to do a task. And sometimes I just think that maybe like reasons that, because and I really am very thankful that I don't overreact, because after that, then I found out that, they went to the ER or they had like a seizure or something like that. And I was just thankful that I don't overreact when they don't do the task or they don't respond back. And then I just feel so bad for them because they're having like, some things happening in their families. And just like Ruth said, that it's not about us. Everybody has, I always say be good to everybody because everybody is having a hard time. You just don't know what they're going through. And so I always think in my mind, something must have come up. So, and from experience too, because it happens to me, like sometimes if my phone is dead, I can't call back or something like that. And Elsie would text me and say, I am so sorry, I wasn't able to make it to the meeting because my battery is dead and all that. And I believe them. I just take it, as face value that whatever they're saying is true. So it makes me more happier dealing with them and just being more personable and understanding.
Great point too, Christine. I appreciate that feedback, and it's absolutely true. And a lot of situations are arising due to COVID. Families not responding to emails, not making progress in their coursework, and it's what's going on. And we have to assume positive intention. They're trying, but there's some barrier that's in the way. So that's a really great point, Christina, and we've seen that a lot over the last year. So thank you so much for sharing. Okay, team, real quick, because we're going to head over to PLCs. So I linked the end of the year award recipients on this agenda. You should have access. I changed the settings, so everyone should be able to click on there. It's separated by award, and you do not have to attend the awards unless you have scholars who are receiving awards. I know 3 hours is a big, we're going to try to make it a half hour, especially since there are only about 6 awards to distribute. But there are a lot of scholars who are receiving awards. So if you have scholars in all 3 charters, again, a 3-hour award ceremony would be a lot, especially at the end of the year. So we only ask that you come and, you know, wave and share your support in the chat when your scholar receives an award. Next week, we are starting with LA from 9 to 10, and then San Diego 10 to 11. And then the following week, 9 to 10 will be YOLO. So we're just waiting on one award for the Good Samaritan. I think there are 3 scholars total who are receiving Good Samaritan awards. Counseling will have that information to us by Friday. So we will update the sheet on Tuesday, and I will reach out to you individually if you have that scholar who's receiving the award. So just hang tight on that award. And then YOLO needs to update their honor roll. So Jason's going to do that later today, but everything else should be completely submitted in the sense that these are all the scholars who are receiving awards for the end of the year.
Casey,
Questions on that? Oh, yep, go ahead, Ruth.
Yeah. So you mentioned honor roll. So they're also going to do the honor roll on June 3rd, even though for
Honor
the
roll
second
first?
semester?
No, because we won't know honor roll until after June 11th. So we're only honoring scholars who received honor roll for semester 1.
The other question that I had was I did ask Rebecca, but she didn't know. Are the scholars being told that there's an award for them so that they can make sure to sign up, or is that the job of the ST to tell them, hey, I nominated you for the Arctic Award, make sure you sign up?
So whoever is receiving awards, they're going to be getting individual emails from the principals inviting them to attend their award ceremony next week or the week after for YOLO. So don't worry about letting them know, because we want to kind of surprise them, but we're going to send them individual emails. Make sure you're attending, next week's award ceremony. And we're actually sending it today. And that's a great question. Anybody else before you head off to PLCs? All right, friends, thank you so much for being here, and let us know if you need anything. Again, my response time might be a little bit delayed because there's a lot going on, but promise I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And just a reminder, I am off Thursday and Friday next week, and I probably won't be checking emails at all, but I probably will because I have it on my phone, and I'm just a kook like that. I can't let it go. But if you absolutely need anything, Ashley is your go-to. Take care, everybody. Have a great PLC day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.